Hello, beautiful watchers. The additional video I did with Ender's Game, where I talked a bit more about my feelings about the book and the author, seemed to be quite popular, so I thought I'd do a few for the other videos I've done. There's not a lot to say about Neverending Story, really. It was a good book, it was well written. The reason I didn't enjoy it too much is possibly because it was too well written. He made his main character unlikable, and he wrote it to be so unlikable that I didn't like him. I didn't like reading about this guy's adventures. You know, despite the joke I put at the end of the episode, I'm not sure how I would feel about a reboot of Neverending Story, because reboots just never end well. Maybe Battlestar Galactica for the first, 2 seasons. I'm beginning to realise I always guarantee at least one major fuck-up per episode. With Starship Troopers, it was apparently that I didn't include a section explaining about how the difference in philosophies between the guy who wrote the book and the guy who made the film, because the guy who made the film hated the mentality behind the book, the glorification of the military, stuff like that. He made the film almost to mock the book, which also goes away to explain why it was so different, so a lot of people got mad at me for leaving that out. I guess in Neverending Story, it was the pronouncing of the name, Michael Enda. That's I got it right that time, right? Get used to that, beautiful watcher. It's gonna be more unusual when I get the name right than when I get it wrong. It's a combination of dyslexia and being an idiot. Thinking of the childlike empress, it's weird going back and looking at someone you had such a crush on when you were a kid, now that you're an adult. You're like, this is weird! So, Jurassic Park. Incidentally, you'll notice I don't actually often hold up the book that I was reading in these reviews. The main reason for that being I don't actually own that many physical copies of the books I read. I know it's going to sound weird, but I'm absolutely fine with reading things in ebooks. I know a lot of people who are really into reading books and have a big collection insist that you need something physical, you need the actual printed book to read, otherwise you're not getting the full experience. But I've honestly never felt that way. I don't feel that the format that the story comes in is as important as the story itself. I don't even read off a Kindle. I can find reading off my smartphone. I used to read off an old black and white PDA, and that was absolutely fine for me. I mean, if it was the only thing available, I'd be happy reading off a computer screen, or, I don't know, tattooed on the bum of a Dutch prostitute. I don't give a fuck. That being said, if I hadn't actually got a physical copy of Jurassic Park, I probably would have missed out, because as I mentioned in the review, they don't have the traditional, always have the traditional book format. They sometimes show you things the way the person's seeing them on a computer screen, stuff like that. They also do this thing at the beginning of every chapter where they have a little quote from Malcolm's weird perversion of chaos theory, and they try and show you the physical representation of it in the form that he describes in the book. He describes it as a paddle with water moving across the paddle, and you're not sure which direction the water's going to go. It's a little bit beyond me, I have to admit. But yeah, that is, admittedly in this case, one good reason to own the actual book. Go on, Bennett, how annoying was Malcolm, though? I mean, forget Jeff Goldblum's performance, he's worse in the book, because he will just not shut up! I yelled at the book at one point, I was like, oh, shut up, Malcolm! Because he will rant on and on and on about his point. I mean, he goes off topic as well, because he doesn't just talk about the dinosaurs and how important it is to have your genetics works policed and properly regulated. At one point he went on a long extended rant about how cavemen were better off than modern people because they only worked about 20 minutes every week and then spent the rest of their time lazing around because they went out, hunted, caught enough food for the rest of the week and then just chilled out and shagged their cave women. And I'm just like, okay, granted, but your average lifespan was about 40 years and the child mortality rate was terrifying. Whoop-de-fucking-do! The guy just had a really serious case of diarrhea of the mouth, that's all I'm saying. That's why I wasn't that sad when he died. And yes, he died! He died in this. They can bring him back all they want in the sequel. He died. Look, there's fucking... To all the people who keep telling me I made a mistake here, there's a bit at the end where they say, oh, they won't let us... Hang on. They did not even permit the burial of Hammond or Ian Malcolm. Now, I kind of think it would be a bit mean to bury him if he wasn't dead and they hadn't, checked his pulse. And also, I was aware that they brought him back in the sequels. I'm building up to a joke when I do that episode, so you guys just be cool, be cool. So anyway, Jurassic Park, written by Michael Crichton.
Crichton! Crichton! My name is Crichton, sir.
And that pretty much concludes everything I have to say on this subject. The main problem with when you've got a really good book and a really good film is it doesn't give you a lot of material to rant about. So hopefully future episodes will be longer, and I will see you then, beautiful watchers. Peace.